simply looked past the Titans and they caught his Ravens by surprise. Lamar ended up with 3 turnovers in that 28-12 loss. So, Shannon, your opinion, is this the right thing or the wrong thing for Lamar to say, to admit?
It's the wrong thing, Skip. You can think that, but you don't say it out loud. You just learn from it. And that's what happened. You know, Skip, Coach Harbaugh gave them the week 17, a lot of his starters off. The the Titans basically had to go 4 weeks, and they had to win every game in order to get into the playoffs. So you're playing a red-hot team that had something to play for, and they were treating every game as if it was a playoff game. So once they got there, they knew what was at stake in order for them to continue on. You had to know, Skip, they had done something very few teams have ever done. They beat the New England Patriots at home in a playoff game. They don't lose there very often. Only a handful of times have someone gone to Foxborough, beaten that team in their building in the playoffs. And so for you to underestimate them, you do so at your own peril. And why would you ever think that? And that's the thing that I think people love so much about football, Skip. It is not a series. In a basketball or baseball game, you can lose game 1, you still got games 2, 3, 4, and 5 if necessary. You, in the playoff in football, lose a game, it's on the next year. The next day, you're cleaning out your bag, you got your locker, you got the hefty bags, and you're going home. You had a great season or good season, and it's over. So you can never underestimate anybody in the game of football because it's only one game, and especially the playoffs, Skip. Why would you think that? If you underestimate no one, respect everyone, you'll always be ready to play. And I do believe they probably look past them like, oh, they can't beat us. But you don't look at a team's record and say, if they're there, they got there for a reason, Skip. And if you look at what the Titans had to do in order to get there, it lets you know they're a damn good football team. They were going to run the football. They weren't going to take many chances. They were not going to put the ball in Ryan Tannehill's hand in order for you to beat them. You better stop Derrick Henry. You couldn't stop Derrick Henry. And once you got behind, you let them play their game. They could just run Henry, and then chewing up 5, 8, 7, 10 minutes on the clock. And it left you with minimal possession, Skip, and it forced Lamar Jackson to rush and to hurry himself and to play outside of himself. Yeah, he had a lot of yards, but Skip, the turnovers. And they couldn't find their rhythm. So, no, I don't believe he should have said this out loud. You know that what you did, but you learn from it, you move on. You don't say, well, we underestimated them. Why would you do that?
On this, I completely agree with you. This was absolutely the worst thing you could have said because you made an excuse that could come back to haunt you. If you happen to run into this outfit again along the playoff trail or wherever, this is a Vrabel special. He'll use this on his bulletin board to say, oh, they just didn't take us seriously. No, that's not what happened. Lamar, you need to own this one. They kicked your butts.
They did.
And you were in a tough spot because you hadn't played football for 3 long weeks.
3 weeks.
And I'm not hindsight second-guessing. I first guessed it that week ahead right here when we were talking about should John Harbaugh play or not play his starters. And I said, you have to play them some because it's too far to the finish line of your first playoff game. And instead, they played nobody. They still won the game against the Steelers at home. And yet, it didn't get them anywhere because it just got them really rusty. They were the rusty Ravens running into a buzzsaw at home on a Saturday night. And maybe they underestimated that, oh, well, Tennessee's on a short week because they had to play at New England. And as you pointed out, they knocked off the Patriots at the Patriots. It's hard to do, but they were winning all the games they had to win. And then it goes from Sunday to only Saturday night. They have to travel again to your place. And here they came, and they punched you right in the mouth. It's 7-0. Then it's 14-0. And then here comes the big fella downhill at you. The big fella, Derrick Henry, in his previous 7 games had averaged 154 a game. It's a lot of yards. So
they went for 2-something against the Texans the last game.
He did when they had to win that game, even though Deshaun did not play in that game, but he just ran over him by himself.
Deshaun was going to tackle him anyway.
That's true. So the point was, no, you didn't underestimate them, Lamar. You have to own the fact you underperformed. You were the MVP, and you had a classically bad night. You threw 2 picks, one early. You lost a fumble. And don't forget, that crucial 4th and 1 at the Tennessee 18, they had cut the lead back to 14-6.
Right.
Mid